Imagine this. It's a quiet Tuesday morning. You've got your favorite mug of coffee in hand. Maybe it's that hazelnut blend you picked up at Costco over the weekend, and the house is finally still. You step in front of the bathroom mirror, the soft morning light hitting your face, and you reach up to fix your hair. But instead of just styling it like you used to, you find yourself carefully arranging strands to cover that widening part on the top of your head, wondering, where did the woman with the thick, resilient hair go? Hi, I'm Alan. If that moment felt familiar, I want you to know you are not alone, and this is not just part of getting older. So many of us carry this quiet worry, especially after 50. We think it's just stress from worrying about the kids or the grandkids, or maybe just bad genetics. But what if I told you that one of the biggest culprits might not be your age, but something hiding right there in your shower caddy? Today, we're going to walk through this together, like old friends sitting on the back porch. I'm going to share some surprising truths about what's really happening to your hair and the simple, science-backed changes, like a specific ingredient in your morning brew, that can wake up your roots. So, grab a fresh cup, settle in, and stay with me until the very end, because the most powerful solution is something you might already have in your kitchen. Ready? Let's talk. So, let's step away from the mirror for a second and look at what's actually sitting on your shower shelf. Be honest with me, when was the last time you turned that bottle around and really read the ingredients? Or do you just pop the cap, take a sniff, and if it smells like fresh rain or vanilla orchid, it goes right into the cart? I ask because I want to tell you about a good friend of mine, Susan. She's 62, a wonderful grandmother, and like many of us, she loves her Saturday morning runs to Costco. For years, she would grab those massive family-sized bottles of shampoo. You know the ones I mean. She loved them because they created these rich, luxurious bubbles that made her hair feel squeaky clean. She thought she was doing the right thing, but she didn't realize that that squeaky feeling was actually her scalp crying for help. You see, as we get older, our scalp changes. It becomes more delicate, like a garden that needs careful watering, not a flood. The ingredient creating all those satisfying bubbles is usually sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. It's a detergent so strong it strips away the natural oils your scalp desperately needs to protect your hair follicles. Susan was unknowingly washing away her scalp's natural defenses every single time she showered. And it's not just the bubbles. Have you noticed words ending in dash paraben on that label? These preservatives can mimic estrogen in the body, which is the last thing we need when our hormones are already shifting during menopause. And don't get me started on fragrance. It sounds lovely, but often it's just a cover-up word for chemicals like phthalates that can linger and disrupt your system. I know this sounds a bit overwhelming, but please don't worry. The solution isn't to stop washing your hair. It's just about making a gentle swap. Before I share the incredible natural energizer that can replace these harsh chemicals, something you probably drank this morning, I'd love for you to click that subscribe button. Join our little community here so we can keep looking out for each other. Now imagine if you could swap those harsh detergents for something that wakes up your hair roots, just like it wakes you up. Susan made this switch, and the difference in her hair's vitality was night and day. Let me show you what I mean. You know that feeling when the aroma of fresh coffee fills the kitchen? It's that first sip that finally wakes you up. Now imagine if your hair could feel that exact same surge of energy. We just talked about clearing out the bad guys from your shower shelf, but now let's talk about bringing in a hero. One you probably already love. Think about Linda, a retired teacher I know. She told me once, Alan, my hair just feels tired. It's like it retired when I did. She felt her hair had lost its spark, lying flat and lifeless, just like she feels before her morning brew. And she wasn't wrong. Just as caffeine wakes up your mind, science shows it can actually wake up your hair follicles. It's fascinating. Studies suggest that caffeine, when applied topically, can help extend the growth phase of your hair. It penetrates right down to the follicles in as little as 2 minutes. It's like a jumpstart for those tired roots Linda was worried about. And the best part? You don't have to drink more cups to get the benefit. It's about what you put on your scalp, not in your mug. So, next time you're at the store, maybe grabbing those bulk beans at Costco, take a second look at the hair aisle. Look for caffeine on the label. It's a small tweak to your routine, but for Linda, it was the difference between hair that looked exhausted and hair that looked ready for the day. But waking up the roots is only the first step. There is a deeper shift happening inside our bodies as we reach our 50s, a shift that requires a different kind of botanical friend, one that grows right here in the American Southeast. While caffeine gives your roots that external wake-up call we just talked about, there is a quieter, deeper shift happening inside us as we cross into our 50s. It's a change you might feel intuitively before you even see it clearly in the mirror. It reminds me of my neighbor Diane. She's 53, full of life, and lives for her Tuesday morning golf games. But a few months ago, she stopped enjoying them. She confided in me one afternoon while we were watering our lawns. Alan, I'm terrified of the wind blowing my visor off. I feel like the sun is spotlighting my scalp. She wasn't losing her hair because she was doing something wrong. She felt like her body was changing the rules on her. And in a way, she was right. As we navigate menopause, our protective hormones shift, allowing others to take the spotlight, specifically one called DHT. Think of DHT as a signal that tells your hair follicles to shrink. It gradually makes the strands thinner and wispier until they struggle to grow at all. It's the main reason Diane felt her hair thinning out under the bright sunlight. But here is the hope I want to give you. Nature has provided a shield against this, growing wild right here in the American Southeast. It's a resilient berry called Saw Palmetto. Science suggests that extracts from this berry can help block the enzyme called 5-alpha reductase that flips that shrink switch. It acts like a gentle gatekeeper, helping to protect your follicles from those internal changes so they can keep thriving. Diane started looking for hair serums containing Saw Palmetto. It wasn't an overnight magic trick. Nature takes its time, but by the next season, she was back on the golf course and feeling confident enough to take her visor off in the clubhouse. It's not about fighting your body, it's about giving it the right support to adapt. However, balancing your hormones is only one piece of the puzzle. There is actually a microscopic garden living on your scalp right now that controls the quality of every single strand, and you might be accidentally destroying it every time you wash your hair. Stick with me, because we need to talk about how to save this invisible ecosystem in the next few minutes. Speaking of natural balance, I want you to picture something with me. Think about your backyard garden in the spring. You know that for your hydrangeas to bloom that perfect blue or pink, the soil needs the right acidity, right? If the soil is stripped or unbalanced, nothing grows well, no matter how much you water it. This brings me to my friend Patricia. She's 60 and has the greenest thumb in our neighborhood. One afternoon, while we were chatting over the fence, she complained that her scalp felt itchy and tight, almost like dry earth. Patricia thought she was doing the right thing by using natural DIY remedies she found online, scrubbing with baking soda or rinsing with harsh vinegar. She treated her garden soil with scientific precision, but treated her scalp like a dirty kitchen floor. Here's the truth that changed everything for her, and I hope it changes things for you too. Your scalp is literally a living ecosystem, a microbiome. Just like good soil, it needs to maintain a specific pH balance, usually around 5.5 to thrive. When we use harsh soaps or extreme DIY mixtures that are too alkaline, we aren't just cleaning. We are stripping away the good bacteria and the protective acid mantle that keeps inflammation and hair thinning at bay. Patricia didn't need a harsh scrub. She needed to nurture her scalp's natural barrier. I'm curious, have you ever tried a home remedy that backfired? Hold that thought, because in a moment I'm going to reveal a common Sunday habit that might be undoing all your hard work. But first, if you're realizing that your scalp needs as much love as your garden, hit the like button for motivation, or comment, "I'm ready for healthier hair," down below so I know you're with me. Now that we've balanced the soil, we have to talk about how we treat the plants growing out of it, because even with the healthiest scalp, there is one thing many of us do before church or family gatherings that is literally cooking our hair. Just like we nurture that garden soil we talked about, we have to be gentle with the flowers growing from it. But sometimes, in our effort to look our best, we might be loving our hair a little too hard. I want to ask you something. Have you ever been getting ready in the bathroom, maybe rushing a bit because the grandkids are coming over, and you clamp your curling iron down on a section of hair and hear a tiny faint sizzle? That sound brings me to Brenda, a wonderful neighbor of mine. She's 55 and plays piano at her church every Sunday. For Brenda, Sunday morning is showtime. She wants every strand to be perfect. For years, she would stand in front of her mirror with a high-heat curling iron, clamping down tight to make sure those curls held up through the service and the potluck afterward. Then, to keep it out of her face while she played, she would pin it back tightly with clips. Over time, Brenda started noticing all these short, frizzy, broken hairs right around her temples. She thought it was just her hair getting old and weak, but what was actually happening is something scientists call bubble hair. It sounds almost cute, but it's actually quite damaging. When you apply high heat, especially over 350 degrees or on damp hair, the moisture inside the hair shaft can literally boil. It expands and creates tiny air bubbles inside the strand, turning your hair into a fragile sponge that snaps at the slightest touch. Brenda was essentially cooking her hair every Sunday morning, and by pulling it back so tightly while it was fragile, she was causing traction breakage. The fix for her wasn't a pill. It was turning the dial down on her iron and letting her hair rest. If you've seen those tiny white dots at the ends of your hair or feel a rough texture, your hair might be asking for a break from the heat. But heat isn't the only way we try to change our hair to look younger. There is another ritual many of us do every 4 to 6 weeks that might be stripping away the very shine we are trying to add. Thinking back to that sizzling sound of the curling iron reminds me of another sensation, or rather, a specific smell that brings back memories. You know the one, that sharp, stinging chemical scent that fills the small bathroom when you're mixing up a box of hair dye. It makes me think of my neighbor, Carol. She's 59 and takes such pride in hosting Thanksgiving dinner for her whole family every year. A few weeks before the grandkids arrive, she always wants to freshen up her look, covering those gray roots to feel a bit more vibrant. For years, she used the standard permanent box dyes from the drugstore, but recently, she confided in me on her porch, "Alan, my hair feels like straw. It's brittle, and it has lost its shine." It wasn't just aging, it was the chemistry. Most permanent dyes rely on harsh chemicals like ammonia to force open your hair's cuticle so the color can penetrate deep inside. But in doing so, they often strip away a crucial natural protective layer called 18-MEA. Imagine it like stripping the wax off your car. Without it, your hair loses its waterproof shield and becomes dry and prone to breakage. And then there's PPD, often listed as p-phenylenediamine or coal tar dyes, which gives that rich color but is a known sensitizer and has been linked to health concerns that we should be mindful of as we age. I told Carol what I'm telling you. You don't have to give up color to keep your hair healthy. Switching to demi-permanent dyes or brands labeled ammonia-free and PPD-free can give you that fresh look without the harsh invasion of your hair's core. It's a gentler way to embrace beauty. But what if your hair already feels like Carol's did, dry and straw-like? Don't worry. There is a way to patch those holes in your hair's armor. Coming up, I'm going to share a kitchen staple that acts like a healing balm for those damaged strands, and it's probably sitting in your pantry right now. If my earlier chat about hair dye had you checking your roots in the mirror with a bit of worry, please take a deep breath. I can almost hear you thinking, "Alan, I've been coloring my hair for decades to cover these grays. Is it too late?" I want to assure you right now, it is never too late. We might not be able to undo the past, but we can certainly repair the armor you have today. Think of a single strand of your hair like a sturdy rope. When we're young, that rope is tight and smooth. But after years of heat styling for church or family weddings and the chemical processing we just discussed, that rope gets frayed. The armor, your cuticle, gets chipped away. This is where hydrolyzed keratin becomes your best friend. It acts like a liquid patch, filling in those tiny gaps and smoothing out the frayed edges so your hair feels like hair again, not straw. But you don't always need a fancy bottle to fix this. There is a champion hiding in your kitchen pantry right now that beats almost anything on the market: coconut oil. Unlike mineral oil or sunflower oil that just sits on top, science shows that coconut oil is unique. Because of its special structure, it can actually penetrate deep into the hair shaft and stop protein loss better than anything else. This reminds me of Nancy, a spirited 52-year-old I know who swims at the community center to stay fit. She loved the water, but hated how the chlorine left her hair feeling brittle and crunchy. She felt like she had to choose between her health and her hair. She started applying a small amount of coconut oil before putting on her swim cap. It acted as a shield, preventing the water from swelling and damaging her hair fibers. A few weeks later, her hair had its shine back, and she told me she finally felt confident taking her cap off in the locker room. If you like these natural tips, please comment "great hair" down below. And if this video has been helpful, even just a little bit, please like this video. It tells me I'm on the right track helping you. Now, we've patched the armor on the outside, but what if you could thicken your hair from the inside using a secret from the sea? We've talked about patching up the roof with keratin and coconut oil, but now I want to ask you something personal. Have you ever looked at a woman walking along the beach, maybe down in Florida or the Carolinas, and noticed how, despite the sun and salt air, her skin and hair seem to have this incredible, resilient glow? It makes you wonder if the ocean itself holds a secret we've been missing. This brings me to Barbara. She's 65, and frankly, she puts me to shame with her diet. She's always at the local farmer's market, buying fresh kale and organic salmon. Yet, she told me recently, "Alan, I eat better than I did in my 30s, but I still wake up to a pillow covered in loose strands." She felt like her body wasn't absorbing the good stuff anymore, and she was partly right. Sometimes, even the best diet needs a specific boost to reach our follicles. That boost comes from the sea. Researchers have discovered a specific marine protein complex, often derived from deep-sea shark and mollusk powder, that mimics the proteins found in our own hair structure. When you combine this marine complex with biotin, or vitamin B7, you aren't just coating the hair, you are feeding the follicle exactly what it needs to build a thicker, sturdier strand from the inside out. Think of it like fertilizing that garden we talked about earlier. You can't just water the leaves, you have to feed the roots. Studies involving these marine extracts have shown that after about 3 to 6 months, women noticed not just less shedding, but a significant increase in the number of terminal hairs. Those are the thick, visible ones we all want. Barbara started adding a supplement with this marine complex to her morning routine. It wasn't instant, hair takes patience, but by the time her family reunion rolled around that summer, she wasn't worrying about her scalp showing through her hair anymore. It's amazing how nature has these answers waiting for us, isn't it? But taking supplements and changing shampoos is a lot to remember. So, how do we fit all of this into a busy life without getting overwhelmed? I have a simple way to pull it all together that I want to share with you before we part way. As the sun starts to dip below the trees in my backyard, I realize we've covered so much ground today. From reading the back of those shampoo bottles to understanding the power of a simple coffee bean, it feels like we've been on quite a journey together. I know it might feel like a lot to take in all at once, but here's my promise to you. You don't have to change everything overnight. Maybe next time you're pushing your cart through Target or navigating the aisles at Costco, you'll just take an extra moment to put on your reading glasses and flip that bottle over. Maybe you'll treat yourself to a scalp massage this Sunday. Just one small step is all it takes to start seeing that shine come back, not just in your hair, but in your confidence. I want to say a heartfelt thank you for spending this time with me. It means the world to have you here on the porch with me. If our chat today gave you a little bit of hope or a new idea to try, please consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the notification bell. It's the best way to make sure we don't miss our next coffee date. Remember, your hair is a crown you never take off, and it deserves kindness, patience, and the right care. You have the knowledge now, and I believe in you. I'm Alan, and I'll see you in the next video. Take good care of yourself.